Hello world, I'm Gladwin Ferdz Rosario of the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Institute of Technology. And today we're diving into a very important topic, the violation of privacy laws under the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR. In this video, we'll take a closer look at 6 major cases where companies were fined for breaching GDPR laws. I'll walk you through what each case is about, facts behind it, the issues involved, the rulings, and of course, the key takeaways you can learn from these incidents. So, let's get started. In these 6 cases, companies in the European Union failed to follow the rules outlined by the GDPR. The GDPR came into effect in May 2018 and aims to protect the personal data of individuals within the EU. These companies were found to be mishandling personal information, which can include sensitive data like credit card numbers, passport details, or even political preferences. The breaches typically resulted in larger fines for failing to properly secure data, obtain consent, or meet transparency requirements. Let's go through the facts of each of these 6 cases. British Airways. In 2018, British Airways was targeted by hackers who redirected the website, stealing personal information from 500,000 customers. This include travel details, names, addresses, and payment information. As a result, they were fined 204.6 million euros. Second, Marriott International Hotel. Marriott's breach was even more significant, affecting over 300 million people, including 30 million EU residents. Hackers access sensitive personal information, including credit card numbers and passport details. Marriott faced a fine of 110.3 million euros. Third, Google. Google was involved in a data breach per se, but they were fined for not being transparent in how they process user data. They failed to obtain proper consent from users for their data to be used for targeted ads, which led to a 50 million euro fine. Fourth, Austrian Post. In early 2019, the Austrian Post was found selling consumer data, including political preferences, without consent of individuals. This led to an 18.5 million euro fine. Fifth, Dashwan C. This real estate company kept customer sensitive data longer than necessary without justification, violating GDPR's data retention policies. They were fined 14.5 million euros. And 6. 1&1 Telecom. In this case, the company failed to secure company data within their call centers. Customers should access sensitive information simply by providing their name and date of birth, leading to a fine of 9.5 million euros. The common issues across all 6 cases involved: number 1, lack of data protection. Whether it's data breach from hackers or internal negligence, companies fail to adequately secure personal data. Next, failure to obtain consent. In the case of Google, they failed to get clear consent from users for the use of their data, particularly for advertising purposes. Third, data retention. Dershowitz kept sensitive data longer than necessary without a legitimate reason, violating the GDPR's requirement to only retain data for as long as necessary. Next, lack of transparency. Google's case showed that consumers were not fully informed about how data was being used, making it hard for them to make informed decisions. And last, failure to ensure data integrity in operations. For companies like 1&1 Telecom, poor internal controls in operations such as call centers allowed personal data to be easily accessed. The EU Court, or relevant data protection authorities, ruled that these companies violated GDPR rules and imposed hefty fines. In all cases, the companies were held accountable for mishandling personal data. The rulings emphasize that the EU's GDPR must be followed rigorously, with proper consent, clear transparency, and effective data protection measures. The fines imposed serve as a warning to businesses that GDPR violations would not be tolerated, and penalties for non-compliance could be substantial. And here are some key takeaways and lessons from these cases. First, data protection is crucial. Companies must prioritize securing customer data. A data breach can not only lead to financial losses, but can also damage trust and reputation. Next, transparency is key. Consumers must be informed of how their data is used. Transparency builds trust and ensures compliance with GDPR's requirements. Next, obtain clear consent. Always ask for at least explicit consent when using personal data, especially for sensitive activities like targeted advertising. Next, compliance is non-negotiable. GDPR compliance is not optional for businesses operating in the EU. or dealing with EU residents. Companies must have systems in place to ensure they are protecting personal data. And last, monitor internal practices. Ensure that internal processes like customer service operations adhere to GDPR requirements. Even minor lapses in data protection could result in large fines. And that's all for the six major GDPR violation cases in the EU. Once again, I'm Gladwin Ferdz Rosario, and always remember that protecting privacy isn't just a legal obligation. It's a responsibility towards every user. Stay informed.